Have you ever been in love? Like, I don't say if you like, crush, infatuate, anything, or sneaky.
Like you are
I say
in love.
love.
Like you're
Okay.
you are hopelessly.
That's-
Yes or no? Yes or
Of course,
no?
yes.
You have been in love.
Yes, of course.
When you were in love, did you invest?
Good question.
Yes or no?
Good
First of all,
question.
did the relationship work out?
No, I just want to know, when you were in love,
Mm.
did you invest?
Of course. You are going
Hold
to.
it there.
At
Hold
what
it there.
point?
First. Sorry.
At
Just
what
no.
point?
Like, I want you to like understand something.
Okay.
Love. Everything you have been saying now, it just sound like further mass. The Y, the X,
Of
open
course.
brackets, close brackets.
Of course.
Love is not logical. You know they don't used to use reason and follow love.
No.
No,
For a
if
man,
they
you need
use-
to use reason.
If they used to use reason and follow love, by
Mm.
now I should have been married. I promise you.
Then
If
why
they used to
is
use
it love? If
then
you are
why is
trying
it
to
love
be
if you are
non-
using, if
you
you are trying to
No,
calculate?
there's something I even want to point out.
Okay.
You quoted a part
I
in the
also
Bible.
want to
You
say
said
that.
men love your wife, then women should submit. But now
Mm.
you're saying that men should not
Should-
give that
exactly.
emotional.
You don't need.
Yes.
They should not
Yes.
invest emotionally. So you are
Thank you, sir.
contradicting.
No, it's
Yes.
not contradiction.
Okay.
You need to just ask your question. Let me give you the plain answer. Right? Now, it is not contradiction. I stated something when he asked the question. All right? I said the person that invests the most suffers the most. Are you there? So when I say men should not invest, I am not saying that there is no way you will be in a relationship and you are not going to invest. All right. But what I'm saying is that as a man, when you are investing, you need to invest logically. It's just like when you tell someone, don't give. They are not be stingy with your resources. It does not mean don't give. It means be logical with your giving. It's not everything. Please, I need, then you give. Because if you are not careful, the beggar will build house before the giver. So when they tell you don't invest, it doesn't mean there is no way you will not invest. But you must treat a lady the way she deserves to be treated, not the way she wants to be treated. I repeat,
The
you
way
must.
she wants to be treated is the way she deserves to be
No.
treated.
The way she deserves to be treated
meet
will be
witch now?
determined by her actions. For example,
I explain that.
she wants you to, take care of her bills, for example. All right? She wants you to take care of her bills, give her everything she needs and all of that. But when you ask her, okay, I'm ready to do this for you, you don't even need to ask her, just observe her actions. What are those things you are also bringing, or what, like, relationship is mutual. It is not a one person's stuff. And then she looks at you and say, nothing, just maybe
And the
my
table.
body and the table, She may not even say it, but her actions. Like sometimes, for example, VDM.
Yeah, where are you people meeting all these girls? Like, I'm just
No, it's not a matter of meat. It's a matter of what is happening.
Actually,
I've been in 2 serious relationships. Both girls are very good. A Yoruba girl and an Isoko girl. The first one, because you asked a question, the first one, the Yoruba girl, I left her because she was way older than I am, although she never knew. So maybe if she watches this video, she will actually know why I left. And then again, back then, although I was in business, but I was not financially stable enough to say I want to go into marriage. And as at that time, she was already in 400 level. It was at that point I was thinking of going back to school. Because immediately after my secondary school, I went into business, all right? So when I observed everything, like, I'm a kind of person, I'm not selfish. Although she loved me, she knew that I was a very ambitious person. And I'm always very intelligent. So she wanted to wait. She was ready to do everything possible to make sure the relationship works out. But when I looked at the odds and I discovered that this thing is not going to work out, I will just waste the time of this lady. I said, one day I just called her and told her, Omo, you don't be like this thing, this is where we end the game. She cried. No, I was just trying to, like, I can't remember the exact way, but I just told her it's over. So she cried. I didn't make it a case of she calls me, I will not pick. No, I'm a very straightforward person. I don't have time for all those emotional games. So I went straight to the point. It's over.
So with that being said, I'll have to ask Bright a question because
Okay.
with your story here, 11 years, a wonderful story. When I hear this, what I keep hearing is emotional availability. So permit me to say this. It seems like you are the authority on emotional availability in this room, for lack
The
of
girl
better
also
words.
gave
So,
emotional availability.
so would you
Yes.
consider emotional availability for a man a green flag or a red flag?
I will not say it's a red flag.
Okay.
All right, I will not say it's a red flag. I would just say, for me, there's a way I connect after the experience of the 11 years. There's a way I'll connect emotional availability. All right, I'll connect it on both sides to commitment. All right. Now, when you want to really, really, really give your all, I don't really call it emotional availability, I call it all. When you want to really, really give your all to the opposite sex, you you need to be sure of your commitment together, like both of you. All right, both of you. It was more like the experience more like a lesson I learned from this. And I really wanted to say something that for me, when it comes to the issue of love, it's not really logical for me. All right, because I'm a believer, all right, I'm a Christian, and there's a way I've been taught love according to the scriptures. You understand? One of the things I did while healing, I remember one time where I wanted to heal, like I was on the path of healing, and then I had a dream that night, and I was always having dreams about this girl on what she was currently going through. So I told my pastor, my apostle, I said, what's happening? He said you need to pray for her. Like you need to pray for her. And then with that heart, I was like, praying for this girl. I said, okay, fine. I slept, I went to sleep the next day. I had another dream. And then it was as if God was telling me in the dream to pray for her every single day for 1 hour. So in that heart, every single night I pray for her for 1 hour. Not just her, but her and the guy every single night. There's no night that passes that I don't pray for her. Now that was because the love I had for her was gradually turning to hate, but there's a way it's turned that there's a way it turned my heart. It made the prayer was not really, really for her in a real sense. It was really for me. All right. So that experience, the healing process I went through at that time, made me actually understand what true love is. Or you understand? True love is not really, really for me. It's not logical. It's not logical for me. And if I have to give myself to a lady, like in terms of commitment again, I will still do it all over again. Why? Because this time I've learned better. Yes, there are some mistakes I made. Sorry, you're saying something. You want to say something?
I wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
Do you feel like in all this she's to blame for anything?
No, she's not to blame.
Like you like
I
towards
don't
the end.
I
like,
don't blame her at
No,
all.
not like blame all those kind. Like, do you ever feel like there was a way she could have stopped what she
Or handle
did?
the situation.
Yeah, she could have handled the situation. Thank you very much. She could have handled the situation better
Okay. Well,
because they did not press her neck to
We're
say,
looking
"Will
at
you
someone
marry
that's
me?"
almost graduated.
yes.
Yes.
It means she's supposed to have like a say.
Yes,
own
like
will.
her own will. So
And she just
except
let
they
authority.
put gun to her head, though. Other than that, I'm
just like what I said from the
Speaking
beginning,
of
she's a very,
religion,
very
some people
shy
are
person.
convinced.
She's someone that is not really strong at heart, at which I know very well. You understand? I'm not trying to defend her, all right, but I'm saying that she's a very good person. That's first of all. And it doesn't matter the hurt she has passed me, that she has put me through. I'll always defend her anywhere. You understand? Okay.
How do you feel hearing everything that Mr. Oracle said?
Okay.
Because according to the way I'm seeing it, for the lack of a better term, it's like implying that you were stupid,
yes,
that you
Okay.
wasted your time,
yes,
Okay. First of
that
all,
you were dumb,
yes.
okay.
that you were.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
No,
But
yeah, I get.
How do you feel hearing what
No,
he
I'm
said?
not. I'm not offended at all. Everybody has their
Perspective.
perspective.
Okay.
You understand? Based on the experiences they've passed through in life.
Exactly.
All right. But the truth is that for me, and from what I've seen from my friends, I've had friends, if I've had stories that, I've had friends that had similar stories, you understand, from what he just said. But from my own perspective, there's a way I think and there's a way there's what I believe. You understand? I've seen love in a different light. You understand?
Okay, let me say this. Would you change anything? Looking back now.
Change
Anything you did?
anything?
Like maybe
That was what he was trying
With
to
your
say. He said there was something
Okay.
he has learned better.
Yes, I've learnt better.
Like, if you could go back in time,
Yeah.
would you change any of your actions that you
like,
did?
oh, I would not
Like,
like
would
her,
not have
or
given her so much emotional availability,
or
not have put
yes,
your all,
yeah.
you would have.
I will still give
logical.
I will still give my all to her.
Exactly
Like
the same.
exactly.
Okay, but with that being said, Mr. Oracle, would you say men who lead with their heart are being safe or are just pump and play unattractive?
Sorry, I don't know.
Men unattractive, men who lead with their heart, men
Yeah,
that
which
seems
men?
to be emotional. There are people that consider them weak or it's not attractive.
Is
that
that
you're
fellow
all
men?
lovey-dovey.
Is that fellow men
So
that consider
would
them
you
weak?
would you say men who lead with their heart are kind of like maybe playing it safe or they're just unattractive in any way? It's just
Are
bad.
just stupid.
They're just exactly. They're just
Stupid.
stupid. They
Okay.
don't just have sense.
The answer to that question is very straightforward, very diaphanous, very lucid, and very clear. When you lead with your heart as a man, you are leading yourself to destruction.
My goodness.
No. There's a
I have a question.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I love this. I
Alright.
love
Fir-
this.
I
Let's
love
have a
it.
debate here.
First of all, what's your definition of heart? Leading with heart.
Leading with heart, in the subconscious of a human, there is what we call logic that is in collaboration or deep connection with the brain. And there is something we call feelings or emotion that is in an inseparable romance with the heart. Now, these two things mostly they come in conflict with each other. Now, as a man, when you are faced with a situation like this, where your heart and your brain are in conflict, are antithetical, all you need to do is to make sure that what your brain is telling you supersedes or works better, or you follow it far above what your heart is telling you. For example, let me just use a church setting. I believe I can use that as an example. You are in the church, and then the pastor begins to prophesy to you. And then from the look of things, the whole prophecy is not logical. That you are looking at it, it's telling you things that are not really in line with the truth. And then at the end of the day, they are telling you that you should, for one reason or the other, bring money or do stuff that are not really rooted in the Bible. Your emotion will want to drive you to obey because you are allegedly in the presence of God.
You don't question religion.
And you do not question God.
You don't question
And that person
God.
prophesying is like a totem of authority, someone who carries the mantle. So anything he tells you, you do. But your logic will now begin to tell you that no, don't let your emotion push you into following what this man is saying. Now, what am I trying to say? Let's not bring it to relationship. For example, you are in a relationship. Your girl is not a virgin, right? And then she now begins to tell you that at this point, I want sex. I don't want sex before marriage. Obviously, as a lover guy, as a nice guy suffers the most. You want to show that you are in love. You want to show that I'm a good guy, I'm a nice guy. Then you say, okay, no wahala. We can actually do that. 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, you are in the relationship, no sex, and she's not a virgin. That is emotion leading you. But for a man, are you a virgin? No. Sex before marriage, I'm not interested. If you can give it to the other persons that dated you and those that did not date you. Because obviously, it's not all the people a girl or a man has sex with that he or she has dated. There are some that just happened. Just maybe 1 or 2 things, it just happened, right? So when she tells you, emotion will make you to say, okay, good, we are good. But logic as a man will make you to say, no, I cannot deal with this. In as much you are not a virgin, then it's either we do this or we go our separate ways. Simple.
Okay, sorry. Can I say something? Okay.
Sure.
I feel what you mean by logic in my own perspective is more like principles. I'm a very principled person.
Mm.
For people that really know me, I'm very principled.
Mm.
All right. And yes, I'm very, very principled. And when it comes to emotions, I don't just, there's a way, just like what I said earlier, that there's a way I understand love.
Mm.
All right. And I don't define love separately from, for example, now let me give an instance. My guy now, you understand? She's more like the person I like, you understand? I don't give a different kind of love. It's part of the understanding I have about love. My love is not different because I like her. I give a kind of special love for her. You understand? That was more like the mistake I made back then. You understand? So it's more like it's a principle. It's my personal principle to keep my heart in check.
Mm.
All right, you understand? To keep my but we are not talking about logic in terms of doing things out of emotions. I feel emotions for every single person. My emotion for you cannot be different from it's just that okay, there might just be a drive towards her, but that doesn't my principle will make sure that I don't bypass what I think, what I feel. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
You
I
get
it.
so it means that for my own definition of love, all right, aside the emotional, this is more like balance. The ability to love this person and this person the same by principles, not by the emotions. Because if you go by the emotions, all right, you may actually make some mistakes. You may actually make some mistakes, but by principles, not knowing fully well that you are still loving the same person. You understand? So when you talk about giving your all, I give my all for him. I give my all for her. I give my all for anybody. For people that know me, ask, I should tell you. I give my all for everybody.
Okay, please, before you ask your question, let
Okay.
me say something.
Okay.
If you love, if you love everybody
Yeah.
the same way, you show the same attraction to everybody,
Okay.
then you are going to, at the end of the day, you will keep regretting it.
How
That
will
is
I
number
regret
one.
it?
Just please wait. Number two is that when we talk about love, you need to understand that child-parent love is different from romantic love between two lovers. So we need to define that, right? And number three is that, you see, you are in a relationship with a girl and you are not in the same environment. I always say something. Distance relationship will only work out if the four of you can agree.
Yeah? Sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
Distance relationship will only work out if the four of you can agree, not two, right? This is not to
You
tell
mind
you.
you have that.
This is not to tell you that distant relationship don't work out, but it only work out maybe out of 10 you have 2, right? So obviously, if for example I were in your shoe, I was in a distant relationship, in my mind, I will already see the love as dead. There is no love. But I will just be like, okay, let's keep going. If it eventually works out good, why will I do this? I already know that the probability that it is not going to work out is very high. So if it eventually turns out the way it turned out for him, I will not feel anything. Even if I feel, I will get over it quickly. Because I've already, yes, I'm expecting it already. Yes, that's
See,
no, this is just.
Sir, so you know something about this love? I have 2 things to say. Never, God forbid. I have 2 things to say. Number one, this one is a question.
Okay.
Can you classify God's love as logical? Do you
God's
think God's love
Of
is
course.
logical? Wait, don't
Of course.
wait, we'll get back to that. I just want to ask the question.
Of
before I forget.
course.
Then the second one is, no matter how much you are prepared for failure, once you fail, it will still pain you.
Okay.
See, that's why I told you, are you sure you have been in love? Sure, you told me your 2 good relationships, you were the one that ended it on your own terms.
Yes.
You self-sabotaged it. That was your own decision. And that's of your own now you sabi, but
Normally.
were you really in love? If you
course.
were really in love, I promise you would not want to end that thing.
Okay.
Well, I think
She please, sorry, let me just.
No
She
problem.
asked
Yes,
a
I know
question. She
you're
asked a
trying to
question.
like.
yeah,
She said,
I
if
could
I-
understand the
She
age
said,
on
can
it.
I categorize God's love as logical? Of
Yes,
course,
can you
yes.
categorize
God's
God's
love,
Why-
For good
God's love
reasons.
is not logical.
Why
my
do
brother.
Calm
you-
down.
Hey,
Calm
my
down.
brother.
Why do you
Jesus,
think God's love is
Let's
logical?
start this way. Jesus had 12 disciples. Out of the 12, there were 3 that were very close to him. I think John, Peter, and James also.
Yes.
And then among these 3, there was one again.
Okay.
I think John,
John.
who was very
Very, very
close.
close, yes.
It's not Jesus was not stupid though. That is number 1. Number 2, in the Garden of Eden, Satan offended God. Human offended God. God did not plan any work of redemption for Satan for a reason, but he planned a work of redemption for humans. Right? So there is no way. God tells you in the Bible, God is love. It doesn't mean that he doesn't know what he's doing or he doesn't apply logic. If he doesn't apply logic, after creating human, he said he looks at the work he created. He looked at human, the works of his hand, and he said he regretted creating human. If he wants to be emotional, he will not say it because he know that logically people will say, now you create them now, so why you they regret?
So I have a question.
Okay.
You said he regretted creating.
Mm.
Please, can you point out where in the Bible that he said I regretted creating?
It's in the book of Genesis,
It's
either
not
chapter
even that one. I
5 or
actually
chapter
think it's in
6.
Bible. I think
Genesis
I-
5 or 6.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
great flood. Was it?
Genesis.
Yeah.
Chapter
During
5 or
that
chapter
Noah,
6
you
is
actually
there.
said it. No, I'm not
It's
even
there.
I swear.
But see,
These are not.
My
It's
brother.
not even that one. But if God's law
And please,
is
if
logical,
just let me give him the question.
Okay.
If Jesus did not use logic
Before you
to
answer,
work
say something.
with his disciples, why did he have 3 that were very close to him out of the 12 and 1 that was the closest if he didn't apply logic?
Now, those people, John, Peter, James, all right, those guys were not close because Jesus gave them a different kind of love. Now, if you understand the context of John being called the beloved, it was not Jesus that called John the beloved. It was John himself that called himself the beloved. All right. Now, part of the reason why he was called the beloved in the scripture was because of his kind of heart towards Jesus. He's the only one, all right, by choice, all right, by choice that could go to the master. It was written in the Bible. He said that he will go to the master and lean on his breast. You understand? It's just like, let me give you an instance. It's just like you are a father. You understand? You have different kids, but there is this one that is always coming to meet you. That exactly the guy. It's not as if you love them differently, but there is always this one that is all. It's not logic. It was not Jesus
And that
dividing
answers
the
what
love.
I've been
even
saying.
that one too.
No,
What
you
about
treat
them?
someone
No,
the
no,
way
Wait,
they
what
deserve
about
to be
them?
treated.
No.
Not
you
the
don't
way
understand.
they want to be
No, you
treated.
don't understand. This one.
Do you think John did not want to be treated like that? Wait, do you actually think John
He did
did
not even
not
treat
want
them differently. That's just he did not even treat Jesus did not even treat them differently.
He didn't treat them differently
Imagine me
at all.
now, I'm coming to like
Mm.
John was the only, in my opinion, I feel like John was the only one that saw Jesus as more than just a master.
More than
John,
just a
He
master.
saw Jesus as more. Imagine
Thank you.
Somebody told me something. He said, "Yeah, I used to have this stereotypical thinking that pastors, there's where I used to put them that the one kind high pedestal that there are some things that I cannot go and meet this pastor. But in my church, yeah." So my chaplain told me something. He said it's all in your head. It depends on how you see this person. You are looking at this person now as, oh, he's one kind. But when you go close to him, you like actually talk to him and you see that
Yes.
he's not actually the way you think in your head that he is. He's not that kind mighty and all. You get, he's just so down to it. And when I actually tried that, it worked very well. John was called the beloved not because Jesus gave him one kind separate treatment.
Thank you.
And he did not he even treated Judas Iscariot that betrayed him the same way he treated John the
after
beloved.
everything?
John was called the beloved because he was the only one that saw Jesus as more than a master. He was always with him. He always wanted to be in proximity. He saw him as like a best friend. Do you get? So are you saying that God's love is logical? It's just contradicts
Wait, and also,
everything that
if God's love is
is in the
logical,
Bible for real.
why did he keep on forgiving David? A logical person, if it's you, talk truth, you go do that kind of thing.
I can hear you.
Even if it is a girl, leave girl self relationship. Even if it is your guy, a guy after your own heart, that genuinely the person is just making mistakes and genuinely the person is just like asking for forgiveness. Logically, would you allow that person to be close to you?
Nothing.
Would you even still call the person?
When he created Adam and Eve, right? He said God is all knowing. Of course, he must have known what would happen, but he still gave them a choice.
Yes,
right?
yes.
He still gave them
Exactly,
every
he gave
single
them a choice.
opportunity they had in that garden. If his love was logical, Why did he give them?
And then don't
Why
forget
did he
to,
give them
he also
the
said
opportunity
he also
that
said
he gave to
Satan.
Make
He
him
said
answer
some wait
now.
now calm down. He also said something about Satan that what did you say about Satan?
Why-
That
He said
Why did
God
God
did
not
not give Satan
redemption?
redemption.
God did not give
I feel
Satan
like-
wants redemption.
Exactly. I feel like there's a difference between you saying this person.
So
God
do you
forgive
think
and
that do you
do you
actually think if Satan went
wants to
on
be
his
actually
knees
forgiving
and
he
was
he wants
remorseful.
to
Show me,
exactly
wanted
show
to
me
be
a part in the
forgiven.
Bible where Adam was remorseful. Show me a part in the Bible
okay.
where Adam or Eve. Because I remember when God came, Adam, where are you? What happened? The woman you gave me. So show me just a passage in the Bible where it was remorseful, which made God to plan the work of redemption for them.
Let
I
me
don't
answer. Let me
understand
answer
the
that.
question.
Okay, you can go ahead.
All right.
And I think we'll be rounding up here somehow.
Okay.
No, I have a question, please.
All
Okay,
right,
I'll not
sure.
talk against it.
All right. When
So
you're
two
talking
more
when you're
questions,
talking
yeah.
about the redemption, all right, there's a lot of deep stories that have not really been taught in church. All right, about the redemption of both Adam and both Satan. Okay. All right, exactly, because nobody understands the context of the fall. First of all, now it was a willful thing that Adam did. We hope you know that it was not the woman that caused the issue, because it was clearly written in Hebrews that the man was beguiled. She was actually deceived, but the man was not deceived. The man was with her when Eve was partaking of the fruit. You understand? So it was not really like God had a plan for man, and his plan was eternal. You understand? His plan was eternal for man. So it means that out of the benevolence of his heart, out of the mercy of his heart, God, redemption was part of the mercy that God showed to man to extend what his love. Just that's what John 3:16 was trying to tell you. That he said, "For God so loved that he gave." So it means that the apex of love is sacrifice. The apex, like the chiefest of love, is sacrifice.
So why was it not extended to Satan? That's the question.
Who told you it was
Satan.
not really extended to
For
Satan?
Satan, I think I picture the creation story as Satan wanted to also rule. And it felt like a test that he told God. It was like if man truly loved God without any restraint, without anything, like in the case of Job. Like in the case of Job, when Satan then asked God, was like, if God should take everything away from Job, if man will really obey him. So it's, to me, I picture the creation story as devil wanted to also rule. There was no part that devil wanted
Yeah,
redemption.
he didn't want equality.
Yes, he didn't want equality. He wanted to also be a ruler.
Okay.
I
so-
feel
He
so.
was greedy.
I feel
That's it.
is something that we should even talk about later, because you see this redemption story. If I can tell you for free that there's also a redemption for Satan, me, I can tell you for free. You understand? But it's not something that we can go into now. Let me tell you something. The way God extended his love towards creation, this was what we had a meeting yesterday, and this was part of the things I was teaching. The love of God is not a sentimental love. When you check the book in the book of Ephesians chapter 3, it was talking about the length, the breadth, the depth, and the height of God. That's what means stability. There is no way in mathematics, I study pure and applied mathematics. There is no way in mathematics you find a four-dimensional shape, all right, that is equal in every side. You understand? But it's trying to show you how stable the love of God is, that God does not even love the animals more than you. And God does not love you more than the animals. It's more like a shared love. You understand?
Exactly.
So the issue that we are now having was an issue of administration. You understand? Devil actually, Isaiah 14, is there, Isaiah 14 verse 10. Devil wanted a parallel government. You understand? He said, "I will exalt my throne above the stars of God." The stars of God is above every other creation that God has created. That's what he was talking about, the stars of God. You understand? So this story of redemption, out of the mercy of God, God has planned redemption for everything he has created out of his mercy. But
Because
it's
our
not,
God is a
it's not even
merciful
something
God.
that we should even talk about now. Many of you are saying that, oh, devil will be counted into the lake of fire. Do you even know what the lake of fire means?
Many people don't really know what the lake of fire means.
I
Maybe-
don't think we will. I don't think we will need to go into that.
Exactly.
So let's not go into that. Now,
Now,
sorry, please.
really
So I would not want us to go in because that's another angle.
That's
entirely.
another angle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go into that. But let me state something, right? Let me state something. Oh, okay. So let me state something. I love the explanation you have given. I love their contribution, actually. You understand? But first and foremost, the Bible says something clearly, and I'm bringing it back to relationship. It says, when you obey all and flaw in one, you are flawed in all. So it doesn't matter before God. I don't think there is big sin, there is small sin. It doesn't matter what kind of sin you committed. Even in the book of Proverbs, it says that among the 7 biggest sins, lying is one of them. And lying is one of the things that we commonize as humans. So the fact that Satan wanted a parallel government, or he wanted to be above God, and humans don't disobeyed God, they are still the same thing. Disobedience is disobedience. You understand? Now, that answers one question. Number 2, you are saying John was a kind of close to Jesus because he always went to Jesus to converse with him or stuff like that. And it actually substantiates what I have been saying, that you do not treat people the way they want to be treated. You treat them the way they deserve. John was treated that way by Jesus because he deserved it. His actions showed it. For example, even in the family, I always tell my students, in your family, your parents are telling you we love you equally. It's a lie. There is no parent. When I say no parent, maybe out of 100, we may have 2 or 3 that love their children equally. Or maybe all the children has the same potential. But 95% of the time, you will find it difficult to have a parent that love all the children equally. It depends on the potential and the obedience of the child that will determine how he will be loved.
This is why
You understand?
are man and you are not God.
So, and it is, let your will be done on earth as it is done where? In heaven. The only problem we have as humans is because most of the time we always have this idea of do not question the Bible, do not bring logic into the Bible. But when you actually sit down and look at the Bible, you will discover that God has made plans. He has given you the way to go. It's just for you to calm down and follow him. There is no way you want to tell me that you want to treat everybody equally because you want to be a good person. No. If you do that, I discovered that messiahs die before their time. If you do that, you want to carry everybody along, you want to show love to everybody, you are going to die before your time. You understand? So what we are saying in essence is this. I'm not saying you should not love a woman. I'm not saying you should not love your woman. I'm not saying you should not be a guy that shows feeling, that shows emotion. Of course, we are all emotional beings. That's why we have what we call moral agency, to know to differentiate between what is right and what is wrong, right? But what I'm saying is that in your dealings with a woman, as a man, make sure you do not treat her the way she wants to be treated. Make sure you treat her the way she deserves. Rule number two, make sure you do not over-invest in the relationship to a point that when the relationship scatters, you will now be the one to suffer most. Because the Bible says it clearly, where the treasures of a man is, that is where your heart will be. That is it.
Okay, with that being said, Ari, you have a question, yeah?
I'll just hand it over to join the interview.
I have a question.
Okay, fine.
Mr. Owako,
All right.
I've listened to everything you said. And a lot of things you said, like, I understand. I can subscribe to it. Why a lot of other things you said, I'm like, a little bit iffy.
It's normal.
My question to you is, are you happy?
Happy.
Like,
Of course.
are you seriously happy?
100%.
When I'm listening to what you're saying, it seems like a lot of things.
You're
Aren't
like
you?
so conscious.
No, not necessarily conscious.
You
Like,
sound sad, broken, destroyed.
No.
distorted.
You see, let me
let me
quickly
finish the
say
question.
something.
let me finish the question.
Sorry. I don't want to. Sometimes when I speak, especially ladies, they feel like this guy maybe he emanated from a family where there is no happiness. Like I hear that often.
Yeah, you know
Now I
what
always say
people-
it. I came out from a wonderful family. My mom lived with my dad for over 30 years before her demise in 2015. You understand? I have only one sister who I do not joke with, and she's married for over 10 years, happily married. And if you are a girl and you are around me, either we are in a relationship or you are just my friend, you will know that I am I am a very calm and good person. The only thing is that when it comes to dealing with people, not only girls, dealing with people generally, my mentality is a kind of different. You understand?
Different breed.
Different breed. You understand? And that, for example, one recently, I think about last 2 weeks, someone messaged me and said, please, I need 30,000 naira. I said I don't have.
Lady.
A woman, actually, not a lady. I said I don't have. I don't know, maybe she's going to watch this podcast at the end of the day, but I don't fucking care. I said I don't have. It's not because I don't have the money, but it's because I know that at the end, if I give her that money, she asked me to, lend her the money actually. But if I lend her that money, I know that to get the money back, part number one. Number two, this is not someone that occasionally checks on me when she does not need help from me. So why will it be just like one of my junior students asked me 1,000 naira the other day? I said I don't have. Now that same week, one of my person asked me for 500,000. I sent it immediately. The same week, he said, I think day before yesterday also, that someone asked me for 1,000 naira. Another person asked me for 100,000 naira. One of my colleagues, I sent it immediately. Now you will discover that the money I sent are far above the money I did not send. It is not because I do not have the money. It is just because I know that these persons do not deserve getting that help. You understand? So talking about, I am 100% happy. And considering the kind of work I currently do, I'm a teacher and I love what I do.
Okay.
Nothing gives me happiness like standing before my students and teaching them. I'm always happy.
The reason why I asked the happy questions because when you talked about you being in a relationship, you said, and I quote, you can't be too emotionally and invest too much in a lady
Of
because
course.
if it flops, you will suffer more.
Also happy.
Doesn't it take too much effort to, like, when you are falling in love with this girl, investing in,
Controlling your feelings.
then you
is
flip
hard,
a switch in your head and say, okay, I'm doing too much.
That's the
I'm doing too much.
consciousness I'm talking
Doesn't it feel like you are neglecting yourself?
You feel like
Doesn't
they
it
have
feel
way
like
to-
too much effort? And because all of
It's
what you're
like a
saying,
vigilante, when
it's
they
making
try
it sound
to
like
Like when you're just
like a relationship is a business transaction to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
like
Can I ask a
Hardy.
question?
Sorry, please, can I just say something?
Okay.
You said something that you said that you are not supposed to give, don't give too much. Let the other person be the one giving too much. If everybody is measuring what they give, why is it called love? Because
Why?
it feels like if you have to measure everything you are doing in a relationship, in friendship or whatever, why is it called love? Because it feels like that feels so stressful and so, I don't know, it feels like you are
a lot of
neglecting
mental
yourself.
effort.
Exactly, you are drawing yourself back. Because I want to understand something. Love for me is, it doesn't have to, you don't have to like the person doesn't have to start giving everything. If I'm like Mr. Bright said earlier, yeah, the way I see love, I don't love people because they deserve it or anything. I love because I can love, and I have a lot of love to give, and I love because I am of God and God is love. Do you get? So now you saying you have to like measure every single thing every single love you give, maybe you invest 20 and wait first to see the other person will invest 30.
Bitcoin.
Like, nah, I don't
Crypto
understand.
for
I'm
you.
forex today too.
Yeah.
The
It's
scale.
just more like actions have consequences. It's as a result of humans, right? We have to get
But
on this.
with that being said, I think one thing we
That's
can
my
definitely
question.
point out.
That's my question.
What's the question again? I think I've answered.
I said the first thing was like, do you view relationship as a business transaction?
No, it's
But
not.
according to everything you said, it implies that.
No. That's the way you see it. I do not see relationship as a business transaction.
Okay.
A relationship should never be a business transaction.
Okay.
All right? Because even if you want to say dating should be a business transaction, of course you cannot say marriage should be a business transaction. Because before you know it, children will come in all business.
Okay.
What I'm just saying is that women can be emotional, but a man has to be logical, right?
Yeah.
For example, someone very close to me called me recently and said, my husband is misbehaving. I think he has someone outside. Then I said, calm down, woman. Don't conclude when you don't have evidence. Why don't you have a discussion or conversation with your husband first as couples and then know what is going on? And this following day, she called me and said, Omo, that thing where you talk now true. Oh. The way my husband say react or respond to everything where I talk, it no be like say he get person for outside. Women can be emotional. But for a man, if you if you try to be emotional in
Can't
dealing
be
with
answered.
women, if you try to be emotional in dealing with women, what Mr. Bright experienced will be a tiny fraction of what you are going to experience. See, we always say the nice guys suffer. We are not saying it is bad to be nice, but you see that word nice, when you look at the etymology of the word nice, it means foolish. So it means, when you look at the etymology, it means foolish. It means that when you are trying to be nice and you are bringing in emotions into being nice, you are indirectly becoming unreasonable. And that means foolish in the real sense, in the real etymological meaning of being nice. Do you get? So there are some things. If I say it again, if I were to be in his shoe, immediately the girl left my vicinity, I will just see the relationship as nothing but dead. We'll see be flowing. I will see if it works out. We are going to be together as husband and wife. But if I were to be in his shoe and then I receive the breakup mess, I will just, yes, to an extent, because I love her, I may feel sad, I may feel bad. But within few days, I've gotten over it because I was expecting it already. But it was completely and absolutely emotionally invested in the whole stuff, thinking that it was going to transit to all the things he has imagined in his head. And at the end of the day, and the anticipation for death is worse than death itself.
I pray you don't see that type of
See,
love.
anyway, wait, guys. I'm sorry.
We need to wrap up.
We need to wrap up.
Shit.
Based on the discussion
Okay.
here, we're diving into love and a whole lot of things. A lot of people have said different things. So I would just say, anything where you pick, just carry on. Take on for yourself. This conversation is still going on. Watch out for part 2. And of course, it's hearts first versus headstrong. So
Please, the comment section is a wide place.
yeah,
Drop your opinions. I
talk
will attend to all your messages.
and please subscribe. If you're not subscribing to the Hood Gist, you're wrong. So watch out for part 2 of the same episode.
Dun,
See you in the
dun,
next
Stay
one.
tuned. Peace.
Hello, what's up, people? Welcome to our private interview. So I'm Ari, and we have.
It's not oracle.
All right. So tell us, did you enjoy today's episode?
Obviously, it was wonderful. Very wonderful. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for that. So I have a question for you regarding during our section. You said, and I quote, that a non-virgin coming to, let's say a non-virgin is now in a new relationship, that if she says she does not want to have sex till marriage, a guy who accepts that deal is an emotional person. And for you, you just move out. Like, a non-virgin cannot tell you, oh, I can't have sex till marriage. So my question now is, if we're going with that saying, like, if every guy wants to adopt this mentality, what's the change? Do you not believe that, people can truly be consecrated? Do you not believe that, people can really be born again, like that was a mistake and they want to turn the tables? And it's still you men, you are the one that counts body, like, make it very bad for girls who have a lot of body count. And I'm sure to you, in that relationship, it's just like a Passover, passing out time for you, because you don't have a marriage goal with her. So prove me wrong. What do you feel that it is not a mistake, like it was not a mistake and there's no room for change?
Okay. First and foremost, I think we need to understand something. When you say consecration,
Yeah.
I believe you are talking about purity, right?
Yes.
Now, there is a difference between consecration and rededication.
Okay.
And these two things, they only happen and we only believe in them when it comes to religious aspect. I don't want to talk about spiritual, because there's a difference between being spiritual and being religious, that aside. Now, when it comes to that, if you know you want to be pure, then you must try to be pure. You abstain from anything that is impure. Now, the moment a woman says, I want to get this virgin, quotes, I want to get deflowered, this virgin. Now, she has already positioned herself and made herself porous to all kind of impurity. So once you do that, you do not have any moral ground again from the aspect, let me say, from my own personal view now.
Yeah.
You do not have any moral ground to now begin to tell someone like me that it was a mistake. It is never a mistake. That's why I don't believe in accidental pregnancy. There is nothing accidental about it. You had sex, you enjoyed it, you moaned during everything, and then you are coming to tell me it's accidental. I don't see anything accidental in it.
No.
So sorry. So
Yeah.
what am I trying to say is I don't believe in all those bullshit. I don't believe in all those kind of stories. It is either you are a virgin or you are not a virgin. If you are not a virgin, then you must be ready to give it to me. Except of course you want me to be doing it outside, which I am not even ready for because I'm a straightforward man. When I'm with you, I know that I'm with you, and that's
All
it.
right. So, do you see an end goal? Like, will you marry that non-virgin?
Of course, there is not. I am a possibilitarian,
Okay.
meaning that I believe in possibilities when it comes to reality. There is a difference between idealism and reality. It is in idealism you begin to project things through imagination, things that may really not happen. But when it comes to reality, all right, I am a possibilitarian. Everything is possible. So I am not saying it is bad to marry a virgin, a non-virgin.
Yeah.
I am not saying virgins are the only good people in the world. Of course, there are non-virgins that were raped. That's another case entirely. There are non-virgins that went through different trauma to get deflowered. But what I'm saying in essence is this: either I am getting married to you or not, at that particular point is none of my concern because tomorrow is unpredictable. But for the moment, in as much you are not a virgin, you must be ready to give me access to your body. But if you have a virgin, good. I will respect that.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you very much, Sir Oracle. So I'm going to read out something you posted
Okay.
on a group chat, and I came across it. You were like, God is not stupid for choosing a virgin to give birth to his son.
Of course.
He is the most loving father, the most merciful father, but yet, when it comes to delicate matters of starting up a family and birthing his child, he quickly abandons the non-virgins,
Of course.
the prostitutes, 33 plus, bed-to-bed milk feeders, and chooses a young feminine woman
Of course.
who is still a virgin and use her womb to birth kingdom purpose. Virginity and youthful decency are so important to God that he had to drag marriage out of the hands of Joseph first before anything. So you're not like saying you are with the one that you are the one that's stupid for wanting to settle down with a woman with a public pussy. So now, if I even read through you're painting a picture that there is no room for acceptance for a non-virgin.
Okay.
So
Okay.
okay, so my question is, you said there's no room, like there's no mistake for you that during that intimate session she mourned and she did, but there's living an old life and truly knowing what Christ wants us to do, what Christ, so that's like being born again. So you do not believe in genuine and true repentance.
Okay. When it comes to making heaven,
Yeah.
I believe in genuine repentance. I believe
Okay.
that if you repent, you can make heaven. But when it comes to discussing things that has to do with the world, with the earth, I don't believe in change. And that is why we always say you do not change a woman, you change her. You do not change an adult, you change her, meaning that you don't try to begin to preach to her to have what we call evolution or reformation. No, just let her go or let him go and go for someone else. Now, talking about what I have there in the group, it is not to tell you that virgins or non-virgins actually are completely bad. What we are just saying is, number one, when it comes to purity and chastity, someone that has the ability to keep herself to be a virgin after attaining the age of puberty, you understand, actually has what it takes
To make a family.
to make a family, to be a good wife. All right? And of course, it is not to tell you that all the non-virgins we have are bad when it comes to character and attitude. We have a lot of non-virgins that are very good. We have a lot of non-virgins that can make a good wife. But what I am saying is this: as a man, before you consider getting married to a non-virgin, first consider getting married to a virgin. That
Alright.
is it.
All right, thank you very much, Sir Oracle. We'd like to have you again. We'll look at the possibilities. Thanks for watching. Bye.